Hey, how's it going? So glad that you decided to jump in on this conversation with us. Over the next 6 sessions, we're going to talk about what true love is, and it's such an important conversation that we're going to have about how we know who the one is and what we're really looking for as we think about who we're going to spend the rest of our lives with. And so I think probably the most important thing that we're going to do over our time together as we get together over the next 6 sessions is we're going to talk about what true love actually is. And so, yeah, we'll deal with a little bit of the romantic stuff. We'll deal a little bit with dating and pairing up and all of that kind of thing. But what I'd really like for us to walk away with in this study is a really firm idea of what true love actually is. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that. What, as you think of what true love is, and as you think about dating and your experience of love in middle school and high school, why do you think we feel that it's so important for us to pair up as teenagers? What is your definition? What is it that you're looking for as you look for somebody to get involved with? So these are the essential questions that I'd like for us to walk away with after this session. So let's get started in our conversation today.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
So how would you define romantic love? So what's the end game of a romantic relationship? Why are romantic relationships so important as we pair up and as teenagers find our soulmates and we grow into our adult years? Over this next 6 sessions, we're going to find out exactly what the scriptures teach us about finding true love. So let's go ahead and start our conversation together. I'm so glad you decided to dial in with us.
I met Blake in college. We went on a mission trip together the summer after my freshman year and his sophomore year to the beach with a group of youth. And Blake had a girlfriend, and she was a friend of mine, and she asked me to keep an eye on him on the trip.
And make sure I didn't look at any other girls.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you did a good job. Yeah.
So, that's it.
And so, yeah, our closeness was kind of accelerated by the ocean and the two of us out on the beach every night alone, romantic setting, all that kind of stuff. And then on the way home from that trip, like an overnight bus ride, the two of us sat together and just asked each other every possible deep life question that could be asked in the span of the ride back from Panama City Beach, Florida to North Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, so one of the questions Blake asked me was if I could date anybody, who would I date? And I said his roommate.
Well, you said me or my roommate.
Well, yeah.
Right after you had just asked me the question,
Right.
And I said if I could date anybody, it would be you. And then you said you would date me or my roommate, one or the other. I was feeling a little deflated at that moment, I will confess.
He had a girlfriend.
I forget where
Work.
we're starting. Oh yeah, we met at work. She worked in a doctor's office, and my job at the time was to go into these offices, and they were on like a paper medical record, and put them on a computer system, which she hated. But that's how we first met. But we didn't really start dating for like
a year.
two more years.
Mm-hmm. And I was not wanting to date anyone. I had really just given my life to Christ maybe a year before meeting him. So I wasn't dating. I was just focusing on me and my children and God and my relationship with them. So I wasn't even looking for anybody.
I had dated some women that, said that they were Christians and they were not Christians, and I was just like having really bad luck picking someone who was actually what I was looking for. And I was like, you know what, I'm just done. I'll just, God, find me someone, and in the meantime, I'm not going to worry about it. And I didn't, and it was actually just fine. I had to do some work at Danielle's clinic, and I just walk in and I'm just chit-chatting, just being friendly. And she was talking about, me and my kids went and hung out with my grandma, and then we went to church, and I'm like, oh, really, you went to church? I'm like, huh, interesting. Huh. And things just kind of, took off from there.
So most of you are in the middle of, or the end stages of puberty, the biological transformations of our bodies from children to adults. And as you develop your hormones and your body shape, they go through changes to prepare you for the next stage of life. I know it's awkward, but we're talking about it. You're gonna be separating from your parents and forming your own families, and this is a good thing. This is important for moving our society along and keeping the human race growing and strong. And it's also important as the way God designed things to work. He commanded us to be fruitful and multiply and to fill the earth. So it's a natural and good thing for us to have a desire to pair up, to love someone and want them to love us back. It's good. It's a God-given desire for us. But on the other hand, maybe this doesn't describe you. Maybe right now, especially, you have no interest in any romantic relationship at all. And it's possible you never will. That's also a fine and good thing. Paul in 1 Corinthians 7 says that it is good and even a gift from God. He says in verse 7, I wish that all people were as I am. He was single and unmarried. However, each person has their own gift from God, one in this manner and one in that. And this is Paul speaking. He says, but I say to the unmarried and to the widows that it is good for them, that if they remain even as I am. But if you burn with passion, it's better to marry than to lack self-control. So it's a God-given desire for us to marry, and also, if we feel that call to singleness, that's fine too. Now, if I sit down and watch a movie, or most TV shows, the definition of love I walk away with is that of a primal attraction, an emotional and physical connection that's purely built on attraction between two people. It's love at first sight, and there's an emphasis on finding my soulmate. And there are romantic ideas that catch us in the feels and move a story along, but is it actually true love? Can we know that we found a lasting love based on these emotional and hormonal feelings and physical attraction? How do we know in the moment that what we're feeling is actually love? So I want us to call the fluttery feelings of attraction we get in our gut when we meet another person the ooey gooeys. I know it's funny, just go ahead and laugh about it, it's just fine. But being attracted to another person is definitely an important part of forming a loving and committed and long-lasting relationship. It's what we see in TV shows, The Bachelor, romantic comedies, the revolving doors of celebrity gossip relationships in our American culture. Shows like 90 Day Fiancé, Married at First Sight, Temptation Island, all of these present a model of love that is completely based on the ooey gooey feelings someone has for another person. Now, there's a problem with this. Now, speaking to you as someone who's been married for more than 20 years, there are plenty of moments, even now, married 20 years, when those ooey gooeys are a fantastic part of our relationship. I feel attracted to my wife and I love her and I get fluttery feelings in my chest. But what happens when there are moments in your relationship that are hard and it's tough to find any of those feelings as desperately as you may want to find them? What happens when life gets tough and you go through financial or emotional or physical difficulties? A relationship built on the ooey gooeys does not last long in those trying times. It's just as easy to fall out of that kind of love as it is to fall into it.
But my first attention grabber, of course, was that she was pretty. So I had to immediately rein that in, because that was just one of the issues that I was working on as a new single adult. I had been married previously, and so I did not want that to be my my go-to with her was, oh, you're pretty, so we should go out. So I just pulled that back to see what she was like.
And we knew each other for a year before we dated. So, I mean, we've been going to the class together and dated other people and done things wrong, you know, and so I did not want to do that again. So it was important to, I think as a single, any person of any age, it's important to know what you're looking for and to have that list so that when you...
Well, and to be guided in that list.
Right.
Don't just make up your own list, because you won't,
Right.
it probably won't be what you should be looking for, so.
Right.
Because my first list was rather stupid.
It was shallow.
It was shallow list, right?
Yeah,
And
I'm
so-
talking about the fall in love with Jesus first.
Yeah,
Learning to
amen.
be content by yourself is like, and dealing with single females, that takes a while. You know what I mean? It's like you finally, it's giving, I don't mean it in a giving up and just settling with Jesus way, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But learning to truly fall in love with Jesus and to learn that he's the first person I tell when something good happens. He's the first person I go to when something bad happens. And then this person that you add into your life is really just a bonus, right?
Yeah. Well, I like this. I think the phrase we used in the singles class was, you know, focus your attention on Christ, and as you're moving towards Him, look to see who's moving with you.
Right.
You know, and then shoot, and then take your picks.
Now, this is a difficult topic for Americans because we use the same word for different types of love. I love my dog. I love Marvel movies. I love my mom and I love my sister. I love pizza and I love my wife. There's no nuance built into the word. The Bible actually uses 4 different words that we translate from the Greek as love. C.S. Lewis, in his book, The Four Loves, defined them in this way. One word, storge, refers to the affection built into a family bond. We might have this kind of affection for our pets and people with whom we share space. Another word, philia, refers to the love a person has for close friends and for those who share a common goal and purpose. Eros is the most common American understanding of love. The root word for erotic, yeah, you know that word. This is the romantic, ooey-gooey kind of feeling you might have for someone you're primarily attracted to. You think they're handsome or pretty, and you feel attracted to them. That's eros. The word we want to hone in on through this study is agape. This is an unconditional, unwavering, eternal, self-sacrificing love that works for the good of the other at great expense to the lover. All of the other forms of love are good and they're necessary, but agape is the kind of love that is the foundation for a committed, long-lasting partnership that weathers almost any storm. So what does it look like to love someone with an agape kind of love, as we're talking about romantic relationships? Over and over in the New Testament, we're commanded to love our spouses with the same love that Christ loves us. So the simple definition would be John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life. Now, true love is laying down my life, giving up my life for the good of the other person. I lay down my desires, I lay down my rights, I lay down my privileges so that I can help Misha become more fully the person that God created her to be. And guess what? She does the same for me. My commitment and my love for Misha transcends our circumstances and goes so much deeper than the ooey-gooeys could ever lead us.
Do you love me?
Do I what?
Do you love me?
Do I love you?
Well,
With our daughters getting married and there's trouble in the town, you're upset, you're worn out. Go inside, go lie down. Maybe it's indigestion.
No, Golda, I'm asking you a question. Do you love me?
You're a fool.
I know. But do you love me?
Do I love you?
Well.
For 25 years I've washed your clothes, cooked your meals, cleaned your house, given you children, milked your cow. After 25 years, why talk about love right now?
Golda, the first time I met you was on our wedding day. I was scared.
I was shy.
I was nervous.
So was I.
But my father and my mother said we'd learn to love each other. And now I'm asking, Golda, do you love me?
I'm your wife.
I know. But do you love me?
Do I love him?
Well?
For 25 years I've lived with him, fought with him, starved with him. 25 years my bed is his. If that's not love, what is?
That you love me.
I suppose I do.
And I suppose I love you too. It doesn't change a thing. But even so, after 25 years, it's nice to know.
Now, if you need a definition of true love, let's think about how the Bible defines agape. In a well-known passage, 1 Corinthians 13, we'll focus in on verses 4 through 7. Paul says that love is patient, love is kind and is not jealous, love does not brag and is not arrogant, it does not act unbecomingly, it does not seek its own, it is not easily provoked, it does not take into account a wrong suffered, it does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So think about this. Maybe you think you're in love with somebody and they're the most perfect person you've ever met. Is it really love? Well, use this as a test because it might be. Are they patient with you? Are they constantly jealous of the people you hang out with? Do they treat you with kindness? Can they only talk about how awesome they are? Are they jerks to servers at a restaurant? Are they only interested in advancing their own career? Do they unapologetically lose their temper with you and easily? Do they hold grudges against you? Do they laugh when you or other people are mistreated? Do they mind bending the truth a little bit if it benefits them? Compare those answers with the description of love in 1 Corinthians 13 and then flip it around on yourself. Ask those questions of yourself as well. Because it may be that what you have is a primal attraction, an eros kind of love, but not an agape kind of true love. Be careful. A lasting relationship is not built on primal attraction. Many broken hearts and broken lives lie in the wake of mistaking attraction for love and jumping too quickly into deepening emotional and physical involvement. This is something that we're going to walk through this study as we discover what the Bible has to say about how we can look for true love in all the right places. All right, so we'll see you again next time.
What is love?